Good evening, friends. Tonight we slip into a different time and a very particular mood. America in the 1930s, the long shadow of the Great Depression. It sounds romantic to say we're going on a date, but this is really a story about survival and creativity, about finding a spark when the world feels out of fuel. If you enjoy these journeys, feel free to like and subscribe, only if it truly warms you. And tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is there. Now dim the lights, let the bells in your mind grow soft, and come with me. You're 17, maybe 18. Not long ago the world felt like a never-ending party. Jazz on the radio, bobbed hair, hemlines climbing, a bright, roaring optimism that promised a Hollywood future. Then the music faded. It didn't vanish in a single crash so much as seep away. First as headlines about a place called Wall Street, then as whispers over dinner, then as silence in your own living room. Your father, who once buttoned a crisp shirt and whistled on his way out, loses his job and sits on the porch watching a mailbox that never fills. Factories close, offices empty, and by 1933 1 in 4 workers is without work. Your father becomes part of that fraction, and the house changes with him. The kitchen that smelled of plenty now smells of budgeting. Your mother steps into a new role. Finance minister, strategist, magician, stretching a roast into a week, turning potatoes, gravy, and macaroni into headliners, mending clothes, digging a garden. She teaches the creed of the day: use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without, and patches your shoes with cardboard and cotton. Pressure outside becomes strain inside, especially for men whose identity is tied to being providers. You watch your father's confidence thin, your mother's authority thicken, and social power in the house tilt almost imperceptibly from one chair to another. You want to ask a girl out, but you don't have a nickel for soda. And worse, your father's hesitation has found its way into your chest. Girls, seeing mothers shoulder new burdens, begin to rethink their futures. Before you can wonder about romance, you have to accept the set, a home buzzing with worry, a ground that feels unsteady, a future fogged. So dating becomes an act of invention. The old script, man pays for dinner and a movie, goes extinct overnight. The currency of courtship is no longer dollars, but time and imagination. Household budgets in 1935 point most income to rent and food, leaving pennies for fun, so you plan dates around sunsets on the river, the quietest bench in the park, church potlucks where everyone brings a dish, porch steps and a deck of cards, listening for a faraway train. These cost almost nothing, and yet they mean everything. Meanwhile, far across town, the richest Americans still gather beneath chandeliers at the Waldorf Astoria, glide through masquerades, and invent party games like the scavenger hunt, proof that pain is not evenly distributed. For most of us, value shifts. A boy is judged less by what he can buy than by the laughter he can spark on a long walk. A girl dazzles not with price tags, but by conjuring a picnic from ordinary things. Money recedes. Personality and creativity step forward. Romance becomes collaboration rather than purchase. Social life pulls indoors, and the living room becomes a community hub. The radio, glowing dial, polished wood, turns into the house's beating heart. Families and neighbours gather to laugh at comedy, fret over soap opera cliffhangers, and on Saturday nights, swing on the carpet to Benny Goodman. Board games, Monopoly, spelling games, cards, fill long evenings. Privacy shrinks. Cars once let couples slip from parental eyes. Now you share a sofa under a mother's glance from the kitchen and a dozing kid between you. Out of this come strangely resourceful amusements, home haunted house parties, with dried fur strips on the walls and spooky sounds in the dark, an excuse to squeeze hands and steady nerves. For escape, there is the movie palace. A dime buys an afternoon of velvet carpets, crystal chandeliers, popcorn sweetness, and light from the screen carrying you to Chaplin's tender grit, Capra's banter, Technicolor wonders. Theatres woo audiences with double features and dish night giveaways, plates and cups you can complete if you keep returning. Entertainment braided to necessity. Critics will argue whether movies dulled social nerves or sharpened them, but for you, they offer a shared dream and a secret syllabus. Cary Grant teaching charm, Fred Astaire teaching grace, Hollywood whispering how to flirt, dress, and carry hope. If your family has a car, any car, a rattling Tin Lizzie, your world widens. The automobile becomes a paradox, luxury and freedom both. A four-wheeled living room where you can tune the radio to music you like, speak your private futures, and steal a kiss in the hush between songs. Motels spring up along the roads, drawing moral clucks from older generations. The road itself redrafts the map of love, even as class divides decide who drives and who walks. Clothes become a canvas for ingenuity. With incomes low and coats expensive, fashion turns into artful camouflage. Flour and feed sacks become fabric, their logos soaked and scrubbed, onion skins and walnut hulls used for dye. Companies catch on and print cheerful florals and checks, even make seams easy to rip, so one pull frees a full panel. Sometimes a family's grocery brand is chosen for the prettiest pattern. Hollywood again supplies the gloss, star brows, lipsticks, softly draped silhouettes, and wide shoulders achieved with clever cuts and padding. You wear your mother's remade coat with broadened shoulders. Your date floats in a puff-sleeve dress stitched from a rose print sack. Together you arm yourselves in style against a stubborn world. Etiquette has its say, a tangle of earnest rules and odd taboos. Slang sprinkles youth talk. Giddy for smitten, an iron guy for a car, busted for broke. Advice columns tell girls to listen more than speak. Never refresh lipstick in public. Be untroublesome. Boys must plan the date. Walk curbside. Pay the bill. Some tips verge on theatre. Fake telegrams to seem popular, no gum, no chatter while dancing. Beneath it is a larger contradiction. Women's paid work grows more necessary while culture clings to old roles, praising breadwinner men even when they can't find bread to win, and urging women to be meek even as they hold households together. Discrimination codifies in policies that target married women's jobs, even as exceptional figures like Frances Perkins and Eleanor Roosevelt expand the possible. For couples, that tension lands at the table. A working woman's paycheck can feed a family and bruise a boyfriend's pride. An unemployed man wrestles with gratitude and shame. Love must learn to make peace between tradition and reality. If you crave spectacle, there are dance marathons, grim carnivals of endurance where pairs shuffle for days for a cash prize. Fed on the floor, jolted awake for the next round, part endurance sport, part staged melodrama, with silver showers of coins from the crowd. You watch, horrified and fascinated, because witnessing public pain makes private pain feel, for a moment, survivable. Geography splits the story too. In big cities, anonymity is your ally. Bench dates in crowded parks, window shopping futures, museum free days. In small towns, everyone knows everyone, and courtship is communal. Church picnics, barn dances, box socials where girls auction anonymous lunches and boys bid for the meal and a moment together. Sometimes the house tension becomes too much, and you leave a note, hop a freight, and join the hobo road. 200,000 young people chasing work and easing the burden at home. Boxcars become bedrooms, Chalk marks become a hidden language, symbols for kind ladies, bad water, safe places. Hoovervilles rise on unused land, shacks of crate-boards and tin, neighbourhoods of necessity with their own rules, rough sanitation, and occasional surprising tolerance across race lines. Imperfect, contested, but born of shared hardship. Love there is practical. A second pair of hands, a second watch in the night, a second body's warmth. In the Great Plains, the sky itself turns against you. Drought and wind lift the loosened soil into black walls that swallow day and home. Families pile into trucks and follow Route 66 west, chasing handbills that promise California plenty, only to meet suspicion and hard rows of grapes and cotton, bad water, sickness, tents by ditches. Federal camps, bare bones but cleaner, offer Saturday night dances, where a fiddle and a guitar stitch a community, and where spinning in dust, a smile can bridge two lonely lives. For some young men there is the CCC, Roosevelt's Tree Army, military tight but steady, uniforms, bunkhouses, $30 a month, with most sent home, days spent cutting fire breaks, planting millions of trees, building trails and pride. You gain muscle, discipline, brotherhood, and a certain distance from women that makes the first town dance after months feel like a high-wire act. The CCC's segregation reflects that era's limits even as the program changes lives. History will debate its legacy, but you know it made you useful. By 1939, a decade of scarcity is ending in a new uncertainty as Europe goes to war. At the New York World's Fair, people queue for visions of tomorrow. Broad highways, streamlined cars, shining cities, hungry for light. You and your generation carry different lessons. A deep hunger for security, frugality learned the hard way, resourcefulness, a shift in romance from sparks and spectacle to steadiness and trust. Can I count on you? Becomes more important than do you make my heart race? Those values help build the family-centered stability that will define the next era. And now the sounds of that world soften. The swing from a radio, laughter from a dance floor, the clack of a faraway train, blending into the hush of your room like the steady purr of a bedside fan. Your breathing slows, muscles unspool. You float down a warm current toward a sleep as the images turn gentle and indistinct. A dress cut from a flower sack bloom, a pair of tired feet circling a dance floor, two hands finding each other by a campfire. Let the heaviness of history settle into the lightness of dreams. You've walked a hard road tonight. It's time to rest. Good night.